Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another one. And what I'm looking at is the Blue Moon Harvest Pumpkin Wheat. This beer was introduced in 1995. It is 5.7% alcohol by volume, 16 IBUs. It is released every fall. I have had this beer many times over the years. I thought I had done a review on it, but apparently I have not. I bought this beer for Bumpy's Malty Monday, and unfortunately I was unable to join. So let's go ahead and give this beer a proper review, shall we? They used to have this beer on draft at Mellow Mushroom back years and years ago when I lived in Montgomery, Alabama. I used to go to Mellow Mushroom, and every fall they had this beer on draft, and it was one of my favorites. So Blue Moon is owned by Molson Coors. It says on the label, brewed with real pumpkin and spices. 180 calories, 15.5 carbs, 2 grams of protein. All right, so there's your pour. It did pour with a little bit of a head, which has kind of died down, but there is that thin little film remaining. The color, a deep amber with a slight, well, it's like a ruby amber color. A few streaming bubbles going up the glass. It is clear. No sediment floating around in there. Very nice looking beer in the glass. The aroma, getting that pumpkin pie smell. Getting the cinnamon, the nutmeg. A little bit of the actual pumpkin itself is kind of coming through. Maybe a little bit of the wheat malt as well. Nice wheat bread notes on the aroma. It smells really delightful. If you've ever had pumpkin pie, that's pretty much what I'm getting with the aroma. All right, smells like a winner. So without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers, guys. Really nice. You're getting the pumpkin pie right up front. The nice pumpkin pie spice notes leads into a nice wheat bready malt character in the middle of the sip. Definitely know you're drinking a beer here. Nice bready malt notes in the middle of the sip. A little bit of caramel sweetness as well. A little bit of sweetness from the cinnamon and the pumpkin pie spice, but it's not overdone. And that nice wheat bready character in the middle of the sip, like I said, is really what makes this such a winner. Because sometimes when you drink pumpkin beers, they're a little bit too sweet, overly spiced, and you don't get the other components in the beer that you're looking for. 16 IBUs, really not getting a ton of bitterness, if any. The finish does kind of drop off pretty quickly on the back end, which could be from the hops. Just doesn't have a lingering finish. Cuts it short, cuts that finish short. The hops that is cut it, drops off quite nicely. Makes very inviting. Makes you want to go right back in for another sip. 5.7% is relatively low these days for a beer, so the sessionability with this is actually pretty high. The body is relatively light. Carbonation is light to almost medium. Very smooth mouthfeel. No alcohol presence. Really enjoyable. Nice balance between the pumpkin pie spice notes, the malt character, that nice wheat bready note that you're getting in the middle of the sip, and then the nice drop off on the finish. Doesn't linger, Very inviting, makes you want to go back in for another sip. Just a perfectly balanced pumpkin beer. I think this was actually the first pumpkin beer that I ever had, and it still remains one of my favorites to this day. I think it's a solid A. I'm just going to go right down the middle and say that it's a 95 out of 100. Definitely a solid A beer. If you should be able to find this beer in your area, being that it's Molson Coors, it's nationally distributed, and it's released every fall. So you should be able to find it. Definitely worth checking out. Buy it, try it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like it? Is it your favorite pumpkin beer? Are there others out there that you like a lot more than this? The price point as well is pretty reasonable. It was $13.99 for the 12 pack, which for a seasonal craft beer or crafty beer like this, I think is a relatively good value. So that'll do it, guys, for this beer review. 95 out of 100 for the Blue Moon Harvest Pumpkin Wheat. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, everybody, cheers.